darkened room by myself. And I have been, hiding under the covers. It's afternoon, middle of the afternoon. No one's at home. I'm alone. I just seem to need to get away from myself. I was looking at Steve Pavlina's website last night. All this self-help, self-perfecting stuff, It just seems repulsive and hideous. Awful stuff, It seems awful. It's sickening. I live in a sickening world. The thing is, I think that for losers like me, I'm not that much of a loser, but I'm no Steve Pavlina, Like, well, it's kind of up to us to, although it seems like there's no winning option, Like if you say, well, I'm not a loser, that's such a loser thing to do, And the whole loser-winner thing, where you self-correct. God, I have enough trouble just accepting myself and what I have to do, to get through my week. It's not too terrible. I'm not a hitman or I'm not a soldier or anything. God, I can only imagine, or a politician, what some of those people have to do to get through their week. This is hideous. It's hideous to me, and I don't want to identify as just with who I ostensibly am. I don't want to identify with it, let alone add on to it and perfect it. Like, I was just feeling my head, my big skull. And it just seems so ugly to me today. I don't think about it most times. But today it just seemed so big and hard and ugly. My own skull. God. Like I don't want to identify. I have to escape all the identities that I put on myself, I really need to. Everything is so futile. Like this afternoon they had somebody on this radio show called Definitely Not the Opera. And it was an interview with Suk Yin. She's the hostess, or the host of the show. And somebody who had come from the UK to the Philippines to be part of some stupid... you can't beat the UK when it comes to stupid reality shows. They're the absolute, bedrock of them. And they brought him as a cab driver to go and drive cab in Manila in the Philippines, which is supposedly one of the worst places to drive on Earth. And he was just saying how he befriended this cab driver who we got to know as part of the show, and just as a private individual continued to stay in touch with him and send him Christmas presents and kind of establish. He ended up establishing a school there, just to better the children and grandchildren of this guy and others like him. And just sort of an individual reaching across the lines that have been drawn by centuries of exploitation and abuse by criminal predatory types from what is supposedly my culture. Oh mine, I'm so owning it, and you just think everything, to me, this is the way it looks. Absolutely. I have no children. I have no children, no grandchildren. I will have no great-grandchildren, or, continue on down the line. And yet, that's what I think is the right thing to do. I really think that. I think people should stop having children. Now. Not now. They should have stopped 20, 40 years ago. Maybe longer. To stop having children. Like, maybe not everybody. Why would you want that? But maybe 50% or more of the people should stop having children. It's so depressing to see people, struggling through hellish jobs, and just so they can support their children and their grandchildren. That seems to me like, well, we're just aphids, I guess. Planet Earth is our plant, and we are the aphids. Just sucking it dry. I don't know. This is maybe my insanity. I really don't know. But I seem to have a very basic understanding that quantity is adverse to quality. More people there are, the worse the lives will be. That seems so obvious to me. Always has for my whole life. No, you want fewer, many, many, many fewer people. This sickness that is our culture, that's based upon scarcity, and competitiveness and everything. It's vile and sick. And for freedom, for the sake of freedom, for the sake of feeling free and being free, and so on and so forth, don't have children. Freedom is more valuable than children, because the children that are there, they will appreciate freedom. What do you think? A child appreciates freedom more? Or a child's going to appreciate having grandchildren more? God. This whole empire thing, build your dynasty. Of course, that's not the way they look at it. I don't understand people who have children. I am an alien. That's the only bloody conclusion I can come to. I feel at home. Some days, some other days I'm like this. I go in my darkened room in an empty apartment, no other people around, and I hide my head under the covers. I don't know what kind of visual this is going to be. Okay, end of podcast.